Hey gamers, welcome to another video. I hope you're doing great today. I would really like to talk to you guys in this video about Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl. It's going to be different than my other video about my thoughts on the game because this time I just want to talk about its impact on the community. What could this game do to shake a lot of things up? I'm very curious about that, and I really want to see if this is interesting to you guys too. Some of you guys, especially in my comments, either on my stream or my other video, were very positive about the game. So it kind of got me thinking that this might be here to stay, especially when I think about streamers still having some good views after the game has been out for over a week. Although that still is kind of early in a game's life cycle. But there is a $10,000 Nickelodeon-sponsored prize pool tournament at SmashCon. And so that got me thinking, oh, this game might have more longevity than I thought. So I'd like to think about what this could do, what this could change for all of the Smash community at large. But I do think if it does stay big, more people keep watching streams and YouTube videos about it, this could bring in a lot of people. And we might have more people entering more than one Smash game or platform fighter, if you'd like, at majors. I think so many people just enter one game. They're just one game specialists. But with Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl bringing so many people together, they might start experimenting with games. Maybe they start playing Rivals of Aether or Slab City, which are games that it seems that Nickelodeon All-Star Brawl, or NASB, as I'll be calling it for the rest of this video, NASB was inspired by these games. Some people compare it more to Rivals or to Slab City, but the point remains that they seem to have some more overlap than maybe even some of the Smash games do with it. And I think this is, I think even if NASB turns out not to be the biggest game around like that, like if the hype does die down or it becomes smaller than Smash game again, you know, I think this still kind of opens the way for new games to come in. They see that Smash players wanted to stream it. They see how many people were interested in it. They saw that the competitive aspect was valued by a lot of people. And so this kind of got me thinking, we might be approaching the age of platform fighters. And we might be creating our own platform fighter community, or PFC, not PF Chang's. That's what Zane told me when I first said this acronym. No, PFC, Platform Fighter Community. It's like the FGC, the fighting game community, but either its own thing or a subdivision of it if you consider us part of the FGC. Kind of like how there's an anime fighting community that would be part of the FGC, which has its own mechanics. And of course, characteristics of the platform fighter community might be things like usually having an omnidirectional shield, having platforms to play on so you're not just playing on the ground, having ledges to grab, having to KO your opponent off the blast zone, and having a percent system. And of course, there could be other things like having a grab where you can throw people in multiple directions. Again, these aren't things that are necessarily in every platform fighter, but certainly the platforms and the percent system and an edge, I believe, are in all of them so far. I could be wrong about that. But that would be kind of the unifying characteristics in some of the other ones I said as well. But in the platform fighting community, if this does coalesce into something more, maybe there's more crossover between communities, more collaborations between streamers and YouTubers, and maybe more games do come in, or maybe mods of games even. Like maybe there are NASB mods that people think are interesting. I don't know, and it's something to consider here as we, you know, look at this new phenomenon that is that has been taking over lately. Now, if this is to be an era where, you know, things really do change and we become more interconnected and NASB really does rise up, I think there are some things that need to come true. I think a lot of people, a lot of entities need to work together or need to work in certain ways to allow this to become true. So developers, the developers of NASB, for example, will need to have some patches come out that are interesting to people. Do they patch out? They've patched out some of the infinites and things like that already. Will they bring in voice acting? Will they bring in some different balance changes? They're going to probably bring in more characters. Stuff like that is going to keep interest alive for the game for a while. And how they do that is going to determine how much fun players are going to have and viewers are going to have. But anytime a patch drops, even if you're not very competitively experienced, you just want to know what's going on there, what new content is going to be released. So I think that is something that is going to be very interesting to see how that plays out. But even let's say the developers don't patch anything, which would be weird, but let's say they don't and they just move on, they still have this resume. They still get to say, I worked on this official Nickelodeon title and it was well received. This is what it looks like. And so now a developer from Slap City goes on and has a bigger budget project. Maybe they move on to, I don't know, the Cartoon Network All-Stars or whatever comes after that. Whatever, maybe Valve makes a game like that. I don't know. Right. And so the point is that this could be a stepping stone, even if NASB isn't the game. Maybe this creates more opportunities for the developers there or people that are in that kind of space to move on and to work on other platform fighting games. But yeah, again, because of the success of this game, more games might want to come in, and the developers could also have a say in that. They could advise other developers as well, maybe informally or formally. Now, another group of people that I think could have a very large impact on creating this big platform fighting community is the viewers. You watching the video right now or sending this to someone else. If you are sharing videos, if you're watching videos and you're doing the algorithm stuff like comment, subscribing, and you're watching streams and you're subbing to streamers more when they are playing NASB or they are collaborating with other streamers or a new game comes out and you support someone that has that drop. I mean, creators remember that, and that increases the likelihood that they're going to keep doing things like that. And so this is something that everyone watching this has control over. It. You can have some say in creating this. You can tell them in chat or on Twitter that this is something you want. And of course, for the players, the inverse is true. How much do you want to stream it? How much do you want to create content around it? How much do you want to enter multiple events? Or prioritize one event over another, or go to an event for, let's say, just for Melee, but then you go to a NASB event maybe the next day or the next weekend or something like that. And tournament organizers have their own role to play. They could have crossover events. They could have cross-game crews, right? So, for example, a cross-game crew could be, Melee versus the new Smash in NASB or something. This was or you could do something like the SmashCon type of format where you try to beat your opponent in every single Smash game back to back, and whoever had the most points at the end won. And so you could do similar types of events, side events, where you include various platform fighters, and it's not just Smash. Maybe you include Melee, maybe you include NASB, maybe you include Rivals, and maybe those are your three or something like that. And so there's a lot of things that TOs can do with this new opportunity to be creative and create more interest and distinguish their own events, but also give the viewers and players something that might be interesting for them as well. And the final group that I feel can really make an impact here are companies, whether they're a game developer, whether they just want to sponsor an event. So they could make the games, they could partner with the games, they could hire the developers, they could sponsor events like invitationals or just run them, or they could even make circuits. And so there's a lot of things companies can do here. Of course, in Melee, we don't get to work with a lot of companies. We could probably work with more, but our TOs aren't always as interested in that. And then we also have Nintendo working against us as well. But with NASB having official developer support, this could be a time when more companies could get in, could see more games, and maybe other things can change for a lot of communities. So that is something for companies to consider too. So again, viewers, if they have a way to bring these ideas to companies, they can do that. So again, viewers have a lot of roles they can play here as well. But I do think even if we have this sort of platform fighter age, this platform fighter community kind of coalesce, I think it will be different in Smash than in the FGC. And I think primarily this is due to the Melee and 64 communities. These are people that have played the same game for a very long time. They're very loyal, very attached. But they're also, at least in the Melee community, very attached to individual players too. So These players, how much they want to branch out, will also impact how much these communities can intermingle. So I will say, Melee players can still be happy about this type of event. If you're a Melee player listening to this, you might say, "Oh, this doesn't really matter to me. I don't care. I don't like it when other streamers play these other games." It still can benefit Melee, and I think having your favorite player make a little more money so they can do content maybe more that you like, they can just have more fun, or they can just live a little more of their life or something like that. It's still something you can be happy about as a Melee player. But again, more money coming into the community, which I think is a big part of what could be seen here generally. Like if there's a pot bonus that's larger for NASB, but a little bit still comes to Melee, that could still be good. Or if more people if people find out about platform fighting because they get into NASB, but then some people from there maybe enter Melee on the side, or they switch to Melee. This is more people that would enter and be in the pot, or they would buy more merch, or whatever, right? So more people could be involved, or they become artists, right? There are lots of things that could be involved where they become part of the Melee ecosystem. So this can still benefit Melee players of various levels too, and the community as a whole, of course. But again, the money coming in also, I think, kind of helps with the brain drain, and we keep more players and tournament organizers if we kind of do this right. So a lot of people say that Melee doesn't make a lot of money from tournament organizing, and we could probably do more things about that. But if TOs can get more money for running NASB, then that's going to make things more secure for them. They could start sticking around for longer. They could keep innovating, and that would be really good for us. And then we wouldn't have to worry about people leaving or so much talk and worry about that, because that was something that was going on for a while. So I'd really like people to be optimistic about the positives here, regardless of how you end up feeling about the game. And I was thinking about whether there was a downside. I really spent some time trying to think, what are the downsides of a possible, like, NASB being bigger than Smash, or just the whole platform fighter community idea existing, even if Smash is still larger, but it was some other game where NASB is just smaller than Smash, but there's more money. And the only thing I could really think of is TOs might want to run NASB or other games over Melee because of the Nintendo risk, and just they get more money. And then maybe more players play for money instead of fun, or maybe people start becoming more corporate. They start acting more corporate if some of the big companies really start getting in. But I really don't think that's related to the platform fighter age or to NASB. I think it's just more related to having more money, and we would have to navigate that regardless of how we got bigger. Even if we just got bigger through running a really successful circuit, or we find a way to use crypto or something that's been floated to improve our scene financial health, and it could still happen. So the problem here would not be NASB or the platform fighter community. It would be that there's just more money, and we have to figure out how we want to act as a community to still hold our integrity, but still welcome this stuff in. But of course, like I said, none of this stuff is guaranteed. NASB could slow from its initial hype, but this possibility being floated now, in my mind, makes me think that this could happen at some point in the future, and maybe even for itself with a great patch, or something else, or maybe there's another game that's coming out in like a few months. I don't know. I'm just saying maybe there is, and then all of it kind of combines together into something that gives us that final push, and we hit the next level for a lot of games and everything. Like there was a big push, and then Melee went from very small to the Evo 2013, and then there were a lot of more jumps, and there was maybe a little bit more of a jump when quarantine happened and people were watching more streams. We start focusing more on content in the past couple of years. Maybe there's another type of jump that's coming around with this platform fighter community. So anyway, I think the creation, which will happen somewhat organically, but maybe somewhat in a directed fashion if we consider these ideas, would be a gain for us on many levels. And this could be true even if it doesn't happen now, or even if it doesn't fully happen now and it just happens later. But kind of just wanted to throw this idea out there. Let me know what you guys think, and I'll see you around, platform fighter gamers. Thanks for watching. Appreciate you.